Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. When isn't there time for a dose of Dismal Disney? It's like every day. Hey, do you guys remember that show? You probably don't. Primos, that show where the voice actress stepped in it and said that Spanish was a colonizer language.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and because people were calling her out for her usage of some of the words. There's been a lot of controversy around the show. There was a lot of controversy. And it came and went like a wet fart. And now it's been confirmed that, yes, it was canceled after one season. And even before that, they reworked what they did have. So God only knows what the uncut version of Primos was like. But they're cutting back extensively on animation at Disney, especially stuff for streaming. And Disney Channel is basically dead. And this thing was dead on arrival. And it's just so many of these shows that were greenlit during the Tumblr era of cartoons. They just kind of came and went. I was thinking about today, we put a video up talking about, we talked about She-Ra in the video, but we're talking mostly about how Hollywood is wearing IP as a skin suit. And I'm like, nobody talks about Netflix She-Ra.
No, but that's because it sucked.
But I'm just saying, like they came and went. Nobody talks about Steven Universe. Nobody talks about any of this stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's really surprising they don't talk about Steven Universe. But this one, well, first of all, I did know that they canceled it because Mr. Milo had written me and told me, and I don't get to check my messages on X very often. I always forget, so I was sorry I didn't see it till later. But I saw that they were going to cancel this. But meanwhile, here's the thing. They're complaining that no one supports original stuff. Well, they didn't support this. It's not because they don't like original stuff. It's like they like original stuff that's not balls. Okay?
Yeah.
And this looked like shit from the beginning, and there was too much controversy, and it seemed very stereotyped, and there was a lot of, different things. Now, meanwhile, what are people excited about? Phineas and Ferb coming back.
I know, right?
That's what they're excited about.
Yeah, isn't it strange? They canceled this show, and then they greenlit more Phineas and Ferb.
So it's funny to me. People want new original stuff. I'm not saying to watch this show by any means. I'm just saying people want original stuff. But what keeps performing for Disney is bringing back, things from before because they were good. And people. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, why aren't people supporting original things? Why is Elio probably going to fail and Primos failed and stuff? People have had it with places like Disney. They're expecting the worst.
Yeah.
And you've already kind of poisoned the well. But they'll come back for things they know are okay. Like, oh, I know that's good. I'll come back for that. But when you try to give them something new, like Strange World and like Primos and crap, they don't want it. Elio's probably gonna do bad too, because they don't trust you to do original stuff anymore. They'll come back for the remakes, but Disney used to be everything new was great, and now people are like, oh, it's probably gonna have some kind of agenda in it. It's probably gonna suck. It's probably gonna look like Bean Mouth. You know what I mean? And they aren't coming.
Oh, it's absolutely going to look like Bean Mouth. I'm looking at all these Bean Mouth children.
I had to laugh about saying Bean Mouth and no one's coming. Anyway.
Nobody comes for Bean Mouth. Well, some people do. I guess is that era of animation? We're calling it the Bean Mouth era of animation.
I don't know. Elio looks like it too.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't mind. What was it? Whatever the baseball show was.
Oh, Win or Lose.
Win or Lose. Yeah.
Good. Now, see, that was a new one that was actually pretty good.
Now, they toned it down, but I mean, the show itself actually wasn't that bad. But I'll tell you that whole Bean Mouth look in the more recent Pixar movies, same with like Turning Red, it doesn't look like Pixar.
No. And it just looks like every other like Cartoon Network type thing.
Yeah.
And, it looks like this. And you can't determine that. Like, it used to be like, this looks like Disney, this looks like Nickelodeon. You could tell the difference, and now it all looks the same. And it's probably because that's how the animators are being trained, or they're getting them from the same places.
No, it's all the same, like 12 people getting passed around.
Probably, and then they're friends,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We're to a place. Maybe I could argue, I guess, that Gravity Falls has Bean Mouth too, though. But people used to be like, anytime there's something new, you'd give it a chance. Whether it be Disney, Cartoon Network, whatever, you'd be excited, like, oh my gosh, there's a new show, I can't wait to watch it. And now people are just so jaded that when it's something new, they, especially out of Disney, they don't support it or even get a chance. And we get one season because you already have people, running at the mouth behind the scenes. You have the actors talking shit. People, when it comes from Disney anymore, you're like, is it going to be something my kid can watch, or is it going to be full of agenda? People are always leery now, where it used to be anything Disney put out, they give it a chance. And now they're not even doing that.
No. So let's talk about this before we get into any further. That's okay. We're into it pretty far. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. It does help the channel. Thank you very much for your support. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo. Sorry. I was laughing. You said before we get to any further, and all I kept thinking of, before it comes out the mean mouth.
Oh my God. So,
woohoo.
So this was a couple of years ago. This is Myrna Valesco. She
looks pleasant. I remember her.
Yeah, she had this smug ass, like, just rant.
Yeah, look at the smirk. Like, let me lecture you.
Yeah, just like that is, God, I know that look. That is the Rachel Maddow. I'm going to lecture you. Every freaking
Rachel
Zegler, the every blue hair on Twitter, they have that smarm face, but she was going to lecture you on the proper usage of language. And then her excuse for not understanding basic Spanish words was that it was a colonizer language and whatever. Basically, like, you're a dumb because the colonizers, and it's not really our language and blah, blah, blah. It was a really stupid, condescending video to make. And this is right up there with what's her face from Cowboy Bebop.
What happens when they do that? What happens when they do that? I mean, the audience that you did have are like, oh, I don't want to. Now you put too much on me, and I just don't care. I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun, and now I can't have fun. And they didn't advertise this one at all. Did you ever see any advertisements or promotions for Primos?
No.
I never did. Not one.
I think what happened with this one is they were probably contractually obligated to release it,
or buried it.
They spent so much money on it. Now, the Mary Sue, believe it or not, said that because of the backlash, they reworked the show because it actually was greenlit in like 2021. Now, it does take a couple of years to get through the pipeline, but they said the backlash was so severe that they actually went in and reworked it, and then they just quietly dropped it on Disney Plus or whatever. And then it was canceled after one season. And I do believe the backlash played into it.
Well, as I say, the backlash, right? Again, this is what I'm talking about. Why do people not support new things, especially if they come out of Disney? Right there. There was so much backlash, they had to redo it, and they didn't support it. Like, win or lose, because of the backlash and the announcements, they changed stuff. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, it's going to be agenda filled, and they didn't watch it. And then it didn't do well, but actually it was pretty good. So what I saw of it. So it's like, people aren't giving it a chance because you answered your own question. It's like the backlash. There's backlash to everything because people will not shut the fuck up.
So this is the Mary Sue. This is on top of the actors going out there and attacking people, right? Being condescending. They said in 2023, Disney released the first promo teaser for the show. Many criticized the promo as well as the title itself for using poor grammar. It was Oy Primos originally. Although the show seemed to be trying to reflect how the main character's Mexican-American upbringing affected her Spanish. Basically, it's not good. True story, and I hope they're not listening. They're probably not listening to this, but neither one of my brothers speak Spanish, or they know very little Spanish, and they actually are half Latino. So it's like they don't, because we didn't speak it in the house that much.
Yeah.
So they don't speak Spanish.
Neon's stepdad
family. They're from Mexico, and he actually speaks pretty good Spanish. And his mom speaks obviously fluent Spanish, and we never spoke Spanish really in the house. I mean, every once in a while he would say, well, this is whatever, and he'd point something and say, this is, how you say it in Spanish, whatever. But for the most part, like, yeah, and they grew up in California, and they're half Latino, and I don't even think they took Spanish in school. I probably have a better grasp of Spanish than they do because I took a couple of years of it in school. But anyway, I'm just saying it does happen. It does happen that you don't speak, you know what I'm saying? Like, it does happen. But
my mom's friend, their family was from Italy, and he could speak Italian fluently, but his kids never learned. My mom always thought it was such a waste because she would have loved to have learned, but she didn't see him enough to learn. But his kids didn't speak any Italian.
I think in some cases, this is how I'm going down a whole rabbit hole here. I think in some cases, to fit in, sometimes people from other countries they just learn English and don't want to even learn the home language, the home country language, because they want to be American. They want to be Americans, and they don't want to.
Well, that used to be the case. Now they don't.
I'm just saying. Like,
now they don't want to, but they want to protest and send all their money back to their country and hate America, but then said they want to be here.
If everybody at school is speaking English, I mean, we had a Korean kid in our class too, and she was the same way. She's like, yeah, I speak a little bit. My mom's Korean, but she's like, I don't speak the language.
Yeah,
You know,
makes sense.
Anyway,
back to the important part. Which
back
is the
to
show
the important part. The shitty
about.
cartoon is canceled. But they said, yeah, they had the name was Earthquake Heights, and they used the Mexican filter, and the cousins had questionable names. I remember that. And then of course,
do remember that. Yes.
We had this shit right here. Be mad at me all you want. Well, it didn't work out. So here's the article. Finally, we're getting to the damn article.
Oh wait, we have to read this too?
I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to say here. Okay.
It's canceled. Who cares? You know,
it's canceled. Who fucking cares? Yeah, they're talking about the whole thing that the incorrect Spanish grammar. Tater's not fluent in Spanish. Again, it does happen. I will say for the record, it does happen. It does happen, especially if you're born in the States, whatever your family's in the States, it does happen. Despite the shaky early reception, Primos premiered warm critical reviews and established its own fandom.
I'm sure critical reviews were good.
The 12 people that watched it that got screener copies gave it a good, and it's got fandom. Nobody talked about the show. Nobody talked. Is there Rule 30?
I didn't even know it actually came out.
No. Like, I'm not seeing the Primos fan base represented on X or Blue Sky, probably because the same people that would be fans of a show like this are highly offended by everything that's offensive and not offensive in the show.
Remember back in the day where you'd promote it everywhere, but now you can't because you have to be on certain channels?
But of course, the series was nominated for the Annie Award for Best Animation Production and the GLAAD Award for Outstanding Kids and Family Programming or Film. So she gay? She's probably gay.
Well, there was a rainbow in the thing. Is that why?
Oh, yeah, because rainbow can't just mean rainbow anymore. Is she?
I'm trying to see where the critical reviews. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. They don't even have any kind of reviews.
Doesn't even have who. So yeah, they
the 5 people that reviewed it said it was great.
Yeah, it's underwent additional tweaks due to social media criticism. Netizens call that perceived negative stereotypes. Bullshit.
There wasn't perceived. You were like literally naming the kids like stereotypical names. It was ridiculous, which is fine, but come on.
So there it is. That was a disaster. So here's where I guess I want to take it. So Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, back when the money was flowing freely, they greenlit a bunch of this DEI Tumblr shit, and none of it stuck. None of it stuck. Like it's all got. They're going back, like you said. They're going back to Phineas and Ferb. They're going back.
Yeah, and everybody's excited about that.
People want.
They're doing another Descendants movie, another zombies movie, and stuff like that. And that's what they're doing, and people are excited about that, but they don't give two shits about the new stuff. I don't think it's not tracking well for Elio either.
No, Elio's, they're saying it's only going to do like maybe 35, 40 million opening weekend.
That's not good. I mean, you said Disney and Pixar every time you put anything, it would dominate for weeks. And now they're just like, yeah. But then a lot of people were saying in the comments, like, I didn't even know this was coming out. I haven't seen any promotion for this.
No, so they were promoting the hell out of it. We went to go see Lilo and Stitch. And
at the theater. But if you didn't go to the movie theater, you probably haven't seen anything on it, really. I know about it because I've been following it for a while for the blog. But
I think Disney knows. I think what we're seeing right now, and this is not just animation, and there's a reason they're not spending the money to promote it. Same with Strange World, same with this other stuff. They already know these movies, these shows are dead on arrival, but they already spent the money to make them. And they might have a contractual obligation to release them. So they're just flushing it out of the system.
Well, the sad part now is because of the past mistakes like this and Strange World and different ones like that, no one will take a chance, I think, on anything new. So we're going to get like Frozen 5,000 and Toy Story, 200 million and all that kind of crap. And we're going to get more stuff, overhauled for Pixar shit at the parks because people will come to see that because they know they like that, but they are too afraid to take a chance on anything.
Toy Story 200 million. This is the one where Andy dies. And he's like 96 and he trips on Woody and he falls down the stair and breaks his hip. And then he looks at Woody and he's like, I always knew it would be you. You got a friend in me. And that's the end of Toy Story. And he dies caressing Woody's face. Like, I always knew you'd come back and I always knew it'd be you. And then he's dead. The end. Then
That's why we don't let Kneon write stuff. Anyway.
and Bonnie takes his toys again because that bitch.
And giggles as she runs off
Ungrateful bitch. She gets like a collector. She gets like a collector.
What, 5?
She's like 5. Like that'd be like giving a 5-year-old like, here's all my vintage Star Wars toys. Like, why the fuck didn't he? Can I say that in the cartoon video? Why the fuck didn't Andy's
already
mom
said it like 3 times already
sell fucking Woody on fucking eBay and pay for college? Why the hell?
Because he loves Woody.
So if my kid came home and said, yeah, Dad, you know that doll I had that was worth like $150,000, right? The one that freaking big fat ass Al like ruined the whole fucking thing to get that fucking thing to send it to Japan, whatever.
What is it with you, the F-bombs? Anyway.
So, well, it's the end of the video. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Okay. So that fat ass that took my doll and he was going to retire because the doll's worth so much money. Yeah. I've just been keeping it in my room for like the last 8-10 years. And yeah, it could pay for college, but I'm just going to give it to some little brat that's at the daycare. I'd slap the shit out of my kid if he came home and said, yeah, Dad, I could have paid for college, but I just gave it away. I'm like, you what? You did what? Yeah, and then the next movie, she doesn't even give a shit. She didn't care.
But did he even know that Woody was worth that much money? Because Al wasn't exactly telling him.
He's got the internet. They were looking themselves up on eBay. If somebody looked up Woody on eBay, they'd be like, oh my God. Like, do we even know how much Woody was worth? Anyway.
That's kind of completely unreal. But you know what I'm saying? People.
It just like always irritated me. I'm like, don't give it to her. She doesn't appreciate it.
But, okay, but back to the point, which is.
The show's shit and it got canceled. The end.
Yeah, I was saying, and that people aren't trying. They're like, the downside is people aren't going to go watch the new thing. So as a result, we're going to get rehashes of everything. But Disney did it to themselves with their dumbass choices. Or
we could just not watch any of the reboots either. We could just go back to watching all the old stuff. And guess what? Y'all go out of business because nobody's buying new shit. They're just watching the stuff they already like. You know what I can get on sale? Twilight Zone. The original Twilight Zone. It's on Vudu for $20 for the whole series. And that's hours and hours and hours of entertainment. You know what? I think I'll buy it instead of buying a new movie.
Yeah, I know you told me earlier you're going to do that.
I am. I'm going to watch it.
And what I buy for $20 is I go buy a vintage pony and then.
Yeah, you're not buying the new ones. Like Hasbro already got the money like 30, 40 years ago.
That's right.
That's what people are going to do. They're just going to be like, you know what? The reboots suck, the remakes suck, and the new stuff sucks. So we're just going to go back and.
You know what? I think someone's standing out in the grass. You can go yell at them to get off your lawn.
I can.
There's some clouds outside. You can probably go shake your fist.
I am getting to that age, am I not? I'm just like, no, I'm just really mad about
like 20 years now.
Toy Story 3. I was just like yelling at Andy. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, here, kid, I got this mint and sealed box, freaking, blue.
He didn't have a mint and sealed box.
Well, he had a prospector. They had prospector.
Okay, he had that one, but yes.
Well, no, he didn't.
That wasn't Andy. That was Al. Okay. Hey guys, Primos is over, and so is this video.
I could just say that. It'd be a very short video, wouldn't it?
And so is this video. I'm making an executive decision. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.